Elvis called his personal physician Dr. Nick, and that was just about all I knew of their relationship until recently when I read the book, The King and Dr. Nick. As an Elvis fan and a lover of books, it was amazing how different my memories were from the facts. The book had such an eye-popping twist to how Elvis Presley died that I wanted to hear from Dr. Nick in person. He has had 2 strokes recently, back to back, but he did say yes. So we sat in the den of his East Memphis home that Elvis insisted he build and talked about the King and Dr. Nick, what really happened to Elvis and Dr. George Nichopoulos. 35 years after Elvis died in 1977, the Vanderbilt Medical School doctor, known for his caring bedside manner and his cotton white hair, talks in quiet, heartbreaking measures about the death of Elvis Presley, more like he lost a son than a patient. The autopsy of the King of Rock and Roll was done fewer than 24 hours after his death.
I watched it.
You watched it?
I watched it. You don't know how hard that was.
They met on a house call at Presley's North Mississippi ranch. Elvis convinced him to travel around the country as his personal physician and as doctor to the road crew as well. Theirs was a closeness akin to family. Here they are in 1973, relaxing with family in Hawaii.
Never know how much I love you.
It was before the history-making concert Aloha from Hawaii. 4 years later, Elvis was dead.
Thank you.
It would be 22 years before Dr. Nichopoulos wrote his account of how Elvis died. The stories might make you a bigger Elvis fan than before, either because of how hard Elvis worked for his fans behind the scenes, or his generosity and loyalty to friends and family. But there is also a section about Elvis's demons, both personal and medical. There were pills to sleep, pills for anxiety, and laxatives. Which ones did he need most?
I guess at different times he needed all those different pills. And it turned out that the meds had nothing to do with his death.
May of 1980, Dr. Nick was arrested and charged with overprescribing drugs to 11 patients, including Elvis Presley. Under oath, Dr. Nick admitted that he prescribed painkillers for Elvis' arthritis, heavy doses of laxatives, sleeping pills for his insomnia, and amphetamines for weight loss. But he also took drastic measures to manage his patients' dependence on medication. He and others testified that he moved a nurse to Graceland just to monitor and dispense Elvis meds.
I found out that we got into less trouble with him and medications or drugs if we kept them in our hands instead of giving them to him to take. He'd give you a good argument. I'm a patient. You don't treat other patients that way. You give them a script and you tell them, go.
Dr. Nick documented that he often used placebos instead of real drugs to help keep Elvis from mismanaging pills.
Before one show, I pumped him up with placebos, and he did the greatest show that he had ever done. One of the greatest shows he had ever done on the placebos. I made a mistake by telling him this. And then he started having some questions about what I was giving him, whether I was giving him placebos or giving him the real things.
In 1981, Dr. George Nichopoulos was found not guilty of all charges tied to the death of Elvis Presley. That didn't satisfy the national media. A cover-up was suggested. So another autopsy was ordered. This one was done by an experienced medical examiner in Dade County, Florida. Dr. Joseph Davis' verdict? The same as the Tennessee ME. Drugs did not kill Elvis Presley. He said there were only trace amounts found in his system. He added, quote, "It takes hours to die from drugs." The scene itself told what happened to Elvis, end quote. The infamous bathroom scene was shared in painstaking detail in Dr. Nick's book. When we come back, the medical discovery revealed at the autopsy that had it been caught earlier, Dr. Nick
Come in and
thinks
talk
it
to
could
him.
have saved Elvis' life.
And
Do you miss me tonight?
Even after not one, but two autopsy reports that showed Elvis died of a heart attack from natural causes, and Dr. Nick was cleared of any criminal charges, the national media still insisted drugs were behind his death.
yeah,
As described in the book, The King and Dr. Nick,
of course, I think
Dr. Nicopolis tried in vain to save Elvis Presley August 16, 1977, on the way to Baptist Hospital in the ambulance, and again at the hospital. He recalls what happened that night in the master bathroom at Graceland before the ambulance arrived.
it fell on the floor, but he was having a seizure then. His heart overexerted itself to beat too fast. The maneuver of straining, which slows your heart down. You can sit there in your chair right now and just strain for a few minutes or less, and you can feel your pulse drop down.
Dr. Nick writes that watching the autopsy offered everyone in the room an instant explanation for why Elvis was sometimes bloated, why he found no relief even from heavy doses of laxatives. He says Elvis had a condition known as megacolon.
There are different causes for the megacolon. We don't think was hereditary. We feel like his was from a viral disease of the nervous system to the colon.
Dr. Nick says reports about the size of Elvis' colon were not exaggerated. Some reports say as many as 6 feet longer than the average human size, loaded with pounds and pounds of blockage.
No, it was several times normal. How big around it was, how long it was. When you got a bag of cement sitting in your colon and you're trying to get rid of it, and it's like trying to pass a rock, because the barium that was left in the colon 3 or 4 months should have been gone in 2 or 3 days. And food couldn't get through because the barium was like concrete. It wouldn't move.
Dr. Nick is convinced that if he could have shared that story sooner, had he been allowed by the court or Elvis family, he could have saved his career. Most important, he feels that if tests had been done that revealed the megacolon condition, he could have saved the life of the king of rock and roll.
It just hurt so bad to know how much time you devoted to this guy. And it wasn't for him to make money. It wasn't for him to.
What he was saying was, it makes him sad because he gave so much joy to so many people, and that's gone. And in 2013, it's a piece of cake.
All of my life, I was told that Elvis died after a life of excess because of drugs, because of a hard life on the road, the rock and roll lifestyle.
And all of that, I mean, think about it. I mean, think about what we feel like on Saturday mornings after some weeks. It all, I'm not a physician, but I'm sure it all added to it. Elvis was given to excess. He laughed a lot. He loved hard. Instead of one antibiotic, the reason there was a nurse moved onto Graceland property was because he thought if one is good, I'll take 3 antibiotics.
Right.
So he had a nurse dispensing it. But he just says if he could have clipped that part of his colon out, he feels certain he would be alive today.
That's amazing.
And a doctor in Mississippi, University of Mississippi, the hospital there, is the one who called the neuropathy, the nerve damage to the colon. He gave it a name. I talked with Elvis' longtime friend, George Klein, who introduced Elvis to Dr. Nick, and he read the book and said, if you have any questions, it'll answer it. He said, I know this. When he was there, Elvis was in good health. When he wasn't, Elvis was not. He took the worst hit of everybody, lost his career, and almost lost everything else. Daryl, I recommend the book. And in the middle of it, you'll find out about the autonomic neuropathy that led to that megacolon, according to Dr. Nicopolis.
That's a fascinating read.
It is.
I'm going to have to check that one out.
It is.
All right, thank you, Merle.